Today, Thogden is in Spain, so Thogdad reacts, and we've got to talk about Antonio Conte because he has left Tottenham Hotspur Football Club by mutual agreement. Now, the chairman, Daniel Levy, put out a very brief statement on Sunday night. He didn't mention Antonio Conte by name. He didn't thank Conte for his service at the club. He didn't look at what Conte's done right. He simply said that players and staff have to pull together over the last 10 games of the season. Now, Antonio Conte, last weekend, Spurs drew 3-3 with Southampton. And after that, Conte went into the press room and had a massive rant. He called the players selfish. He didn't apologise for that draw, which shouldn't have happened. He blamed the players. He got on a plane to Italy, and we knew it was over at that stage. So we're going to look at what did Conte do right, what did Conte do wrong, and what comes next for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Now, Antonio Conte came to White Hart Lane in November 2021, and there were a couple of fundamental mistakes made from day one. The first of which was Conte got a short-term contract. Now, he was going to be in place for last season from November and all of this season. Now, you look at other clubs, Man City with Pep Guardiola, Liverpool with Jurgen Klopp. Those are long-term projects. Those are managers who are going to stick around for 5 to 10 years and build something. What could Antonio Conte really do in 2 years? And what is the reaction of the staff and the players to Conte? If they don't like him, they can stick around because somebody else is going to come in 2 years' time. And secondly, is Antonio Conte and Daniel Levy a marriage made in heaven? Now, these are two guys with different views on football and different personalities. Daniel Levy is a superb businessman. He's a very private man. He likes to do things behind the scenes. If there's going to be an argument, it has to be behind closed doors. Antonio Conte, emotional, passionate, Italian. If he's got a problem, he's going to speak to the press, to the players, to the fans. He's going to say what he thinks right there, right now. Why did Daniel Levy hire that man? And also, this is no disrespect to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, but Antonio Conte is a serial winner. As a player, he was an absolute legend at Juve. He won 5 Serie A titles. He won the Champions League. He won the UEFA Cup. As a manager, he continued in that vein at Juventus. 3 more Serie A titles. Went to Chelsea, won the Premier League. Went back to Inter Milan and won another title. Now, Tottenham Hotspur, before Conte arrived, they finished 6th. They finished 7th. And it's fair to say that they weren't really expected to win the Premier League in the next couple of years. So why did Daniel Levy choose this man in the first place? Now, Conte's first partial season at Spurs was a partial success. They finished 4th in the league and got into the Champions League. And from day one, Conte saw things that were wrong and he put them right. For example, diet. Now, in football, it's the little things that make all the difference. Conte went in there and he saw the players eating the wrong foods, eating things like nachos. And he said, there's going to be no nachos. There's going to be no ketchup. There's going to be less salt and less fat. And this might sound like a small thing, but he made immediate changes there to diet. He looked at the players and he saw that a lot of them were overweight. And so he intensified training. And he said it's unacceptable that a single player will be overweight, will be out of shape. He also looked at the shape of the team, and Conte is all about the 3-4-3 formation. He likes 3 centre-backs, he likes a left wing-back and a right wing-back, and a lot of the early training was about shape. It was about telling the whole team what they do in a game situation, and initially the players responded to that. They got fitter and they got better, and behind the scenes, Kulusevski came in from Juventus, Bentancur came in from Juventus. These are players that Conte wanted, that he knew from Italy, and that improved the team. So you look at that first partial season and you say that was a really good start from Conte. Now, this season started all right. Ivan Perisic came into the club on very big wages. We know that he's a world-class player, although it's not really worked in practice. Richarlison came in for 50 million quid. The fans were very happy with that. And also you had Yves Bissouma come in. Having said that, Conte didn't get everything he wanted. He wanted a world-class right back. He wanted a world-class centre back. And what he got was not up to his standards. Jed Spence, he's publicly criticised Jed Spence as a club signing and not his signing. As of today, Tottenham Hotspur are 4th in the league. But let's be honest, it hasn't been a great season. They've lost 9 out of 28 games. And just think about that. 1 in 3 games in the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur have lost. And they were dumped out of the FA Cup by Sheffield United. And they were dumped out of the Champions League by AC Milan, by a very average AC Milan team. Now, Tottenham Hotspur fans really want a trophy. You've got 91 other clubs and their fans bantering Tottenham because they don't have any silverware. And maybe Antonio Conte didn't quite realise the importance of winning a trophy. But overall, a number of key players have underperformed. Now, Heung-min Son, the drop-off in form there is quite astonishing. Last season, he won the Golden Boot. This season, he has been mostly pretty terrible. Kulusevski, a real impact player last season. This season, admittedly, he's had some injuries. He's just not been the player he was. Hugo Lloris, I'm a massive fan of him over the years, but he's made some really bad mistakes this year. A good manager has to motivate players. All players have a bad run, and it's about coming out of that bad run. And Conte is not the man to put his arm around the shoulders and improve those players and motivate them and cheer them up. And the atmosphere at White Hart Lane has apparently this season been toxic. It has been awful. Players have stopped enjoying the training. Apparently, they've all been looking forward to the international breaks when they can go off to their countries and enjoy a different type of football, a more enjoyable type of football. Now, Conte this season has been critical of the club on many occasions. Now, in fairness to him, he says from the start that he's going to be brutally honest. That this is part of the way he works. Conte is brutally honest. He creates tension. He wants to drive the change. He wants to make things better, and he thinks this is the way to do it. But it seems like he's gone too far. He's criticised the players, the chairman, the club, the medical staff, and it seems like people have just had enough. They're maybe not playing for the gaffer at the moment. And also Conte's tactics have been criticised at times, in particular in that 3-3 draw with Southampton. You're 3-1 up against a team that almost certainly will be relegated, and you sit back and you try to hold on to a win against Southampton. Really, keep pushing forward. Try and score 4, try and score 5. The fans have given up on Conte. So how do you summarise Antonio Conte's time at Spurs? Well, I'll tell you what you've got to point out. He was earning 15 million quid per year to do that job, and he didn't see out a single season. Now think about that. Tottenham is a poor part of London, and 60,000 people are in that stadium. They've scrimped and saved to buy those season tickets. They are nurses, doctors, teachers, engineers, whatever. I tell you what, they're not earning 15 million quid a year. That manager is, and he leaves that club, he leaves that stadium without any love from the players, without any love from the fans. He didn't win a single trophy. You got dumped out of the FA Cup, you got dumped out of the Champions League, 4th place in the league. That ain't bad, but like I said, you didn't even finish a single year, a single season at the club, and that is an absolute disgrace. So Christian Stellini and Ryan Mason will be taking temporary charge for the next 10 games. And in the next few months, Daniel Levy and the board will look for a full-time manager. And it's ironic that Stellini and Ryan Mason, they came in February when Antonio Conte had his gallbladder surgery, when he was recovering. And that period when Conte was away was actually when the best results came. So I actually feel that Tottenham Hotspur will get into the Champions League. I think they will hold off Newcastle and Liverpool and take that 4th spot. And then it's a question of maybe Pochettino is the next manager. I think that would be a retrograde step. I think when you've tried something once and it doesn't work, do not do it again. Julian Nagelsmann. Now, this is a guy who is a great young manager. He's just been fired from Bayern Munich after less than 2 years. He's 35 years old. He's got a pretty good resume at Hoffenheim, at RB Leipzig, at Bayern Munich. He wasn't bad at Bayern Munich. He won the Bundesliga. He won 60 out of 84 games. And maybe this is the sort of guy who will commit to 5 to 10 years. There's no reason why they can't start winning trophies to put into that empty cabinet There's no reason why they can't push Arsenal and Man City and Liverpool to even win the Premier League in the next 5 to 10 years. So Tottenham Hotspur have got to be ambitious with their next managerial appointment. They've got to think to the long term. They've got to give the right man 5 years for the job. And it's got to be a man that fits in with Daniel Levy and the ethos of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.